Picture the coldest part of the night. The fire has burned low, everyone is asleep, wrapped together, breathing slow, safe in the dark. Everyone except one person. One person sits awake at the edge of the light, feeding the flames, listening to the black wall of the night beyond. They cannot sleep. If they do, the fire dies. And if the fire dies, everyone here could die with it. In the Stone Age, survival was a group effort. You stayed alive because you were never truly alone. But a few rare roles broke that rule. A few jobs pulled a person away from the warmth, away from the others, out into the silence. So here is the question. In a world where being together meant staying alive, what was the loneliest job of all? To understand the loneliness, you first have to understand the danger. A single human alone on the ancient landscape was a fragile thing. No claws, no fangs, no thick fur against the cold. Our entire survival strategy was each other. The group shared food, shared warmth, shared watch. Dozens of eyes watching for danger instead of one. Many hands building, gathering, defending. Step away from that group, and every one of those advantages vanished. Alone, you could not sleep safely. Alone, an injury that the group would have nursed could now kill you. Alone, a predator that would think twice about a crowd would size you up as an easy meal. So in this world, choosing to be alone, or being forced to be alone, was one of the most dangerous things that could happen to a person. And yet some jobs demanded exactly that. Let's go back to that fire. Fire was perhaps the most precious thing a group owned. It cooked food and made it safe to eat. It pushed back the freezing dark, and crucially, its light and smell held predators at bay through the night. When their eyes were sharpest and a sleeping camp was at its most helpless. But fire is hungry. It has to be fed constantly, or it fades to embers and dies. We know that ancient groups could keep a single fire alive for weeks, even months, by carefully tending the flames. And when they moved, someone carried the precious embers with them to the next camp. That meant someone had to watch it. Through the long, cold hours while everyone else slept, the firekeeper stayed awake, adding fuel, shielding it from wind, listening. Their reward for this lonely vigil was simple. Everyone they loved woke up alive in the morning. But while the others dreamed, the firekeeper sat alone with the flames and the dark. Now look at the person sitting slightly apart from the group, head down, working in silence. This is the toolmaker, and toolmaking was a craft that took total, solitary focus. At a cave in Jordan called Mughr el-Hamamah, archaeologists led by Aaron Stutz uncovered thousands of stone tools dating back more than 40,000 years. What they found was striking, clear evidence of specialization. Different people focusing on different skills. Some had become experts at striking long, perfect blades. Some at shaping points and scrapers. That kind of mastery doesn't come from a few minutes of work. It comes from hours and hours of patient, repetitive practice, often done alone. Strike the stone at the wrong angle, and the whole piece shatters. You have to start again. The toolmaker would sit, hunched and quiet, hands moving, mind locked onto the rock, while the talk and laughter of the camp drifted on. Without them, it was a respected role. The whole group depended on what those hands produced. But respect and company are not the same thing. Some loneliness happened at the very edge of the known world. Before a group could move to new hunting grounds, before they could follow the herds across the changing seasons, someone had to go and look. Someone had to walk out ahead, alone, into land no one had seen, to find water, to find game, and to find danger before it found everyone else. This was the scout, and the scout carried the safety of the whole group on their shoulders, while having none of it themselves. Out there, every skill of the tracker mattered. Reading a print in the mud, a bent blade of grass, fresh droppings, knowing which way an animal had gone and how long ago. But knowing those things didn't make the scout any less alone. Every snapped twig in the distance was a question with no one to answer it. If something went wrong out there, a fall, a wound, a predator, there was no group to call to. There was only you, the land, and the long walk home. And then there was a loneliness of a stranger kind, not out on the plain, but deep underground. Around 50,000 years ago, we see the first clear signs of a special role in human groups. The spiritual specialist, often called the shaman. This was the person believed to walk between worlds, to speak with spirits, to heal the sick, and guide the hunt. And reaching that other world often meant going alone into the deep dark of a cave. Think of the great painted caves, like Lascaux and Chauvet. Researchers who study them, like David Lewis Williams, have pointed out something powerful. Deep inside a cave, there is total darkness, total silence, bitter cold. Cut off from the world, the human mind begins to slip into a trance. Exactly the altered state the shaman was seeking. So they would crawl, alone, far into the earth, beyond the last of the light, to paint and to dream and to meet the spirits in the dark. It was a position of great power and respect in the group, but it was built on a willingness to go where no one else dared, into the loneliest dark there is. So far, every lonely job has been a choice, a duty taken up for the good of the group. But there was one form of loneliness that was no honor at all. It was the worst thing the group could do to you. Banishment. In a world where the group was everything, to be cast out of it was almost beyond imagining. We know from studies of later societies that being exiled from your people was one of the most severe punishments that existed. And here is the haunting part. In many cultures, the fear of that loneliness ran deeper than the fear of death itself. People dreaded being sent away alone more than they dreaded dying. And you can understand why. To be banished was to lose everything that kept you alive all at once. No fire shared with you. No one to watch while you slept. No hands to help you hunt. No one to care for you if you fell ill. The outcast walked away from the only world they had ever known, and into a silence that, very often, did not let them come back. This was the loneliest fate of all. Not a job, a sentence. So which was the loneliest job in the Stone Age? Maybe it's the wrong question, because look at what all of these people had in common. The firekeeper sat alone so the group could sleep. The toolmaker worked alone so the group could be armed. The scout walked alone so the group could find its way. The shaman went into the dark alone so the group could feel watched over. Every one of them stepped away from the warmth so that the warmth could keep burning for everyone else. Their loneliness wasn't a weakness in the group. It was the price a few people paid to hold the group together. The strength of the many quietly rested on the courage of the alone. We don't think of the Stone Age as a lonely place. We picture the crowd around the fire, the shared hunt, the safety of the many. But somewhere just outside that circle of light, there was always someone. Awake while others slept, walking while others rested, sitting apart, doing the quiet, solitary work that everyone else depended on and few ever saw. The next time you are the one still awake when the world has gone quiet, the one carrying something alone so that others don't have to. Remember that you are doing one of the oldest jobs there is. Because even at the very beginning, the warmth that kept us all alive was watched over in the dark by someone on their own.